kicking up dust on a rick house floor. Charred oak whispers we can't ignore. Stories in the mash, fire in the grain. Raise up your glass, feel that bourbon flame. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. From Kentucky hills to the neon lights, we're talking small batch days and whiskey nights. Tasting the past in every pour. Gonna carve our names on the distiller's door. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. Raise 'em high, feel the fire. Clinking glasses, lifting higher. One more toast to the ones before, and the legends we're making forevermore. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the rick house walls to your front row. Every drop a story, every sip a crown. We're bourbon legends, come gather round. Come gather round. Come gather round.
Good Thursday afternoon, evening to everybody. I hope you are doing good. If you will bear with me just for a moment, I saw our guests pop in and then I saw our guests pop out. So kind of threw me off a little bit, but you know what? It's kind of been one of those off days. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you all about it here in a minute. So anyway, I hope everybody's Thursday is going good. And we got some surprises tonight. First of all, we want to say, Will, wherever you are, hope you're having fun. Now, Will's at the airport right now picking up his daughter. He hasn't seen in a year or two. And anyway, so we've got a co-host. Well, we have a co-host first, which is Roger Randall. Everybody knows Roger.
Woo! Let's go, baby.
What's going on, Roger?
Hey, living the dream, baby. Living the dream. I've got some of my favorite bourbons in front of me and tasting through them and having a good old time. And I'm going to talk to the man who blended them.
Yeah.
Oh, is it too early for that?
No, it's not too early to do that. I mean, you know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's like 3 hours past 5 o'clock over here in our time. So hell, you can be drinking all you want. And then taking Will's spot tonight is the one and only Mr. Josh Hammond, proprietor. How do you like that? Proprietor.
I love coming on like Dale Earnhardt Jr. You ain't first or last.
That's right.
I like it.
That's right. So what's been going on today? I know it was probably a really slow day in Memphis, right? Not much was going on behind the scenes today.
It all came together today quite nicely. Shockingly, I've got 6 bottles before me that I didn't think I was even going to see until a few weeks later. So we'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, it was kind of nice.
We got some shout-outs for that.
For this show seems exciting.
The whiskey gods have fallen good on your end over there.
Yep.
Well, first of all, we want to start the night off with our usual little stupid drinking games that we like to play. So when you hear that word BLEND,
blend,
or anything like blender, blended, that all count, because our guest, which is, no surprise, it's Jonathan Maisano from K. Luke Whiskey, and he is a master blender. So we'll have him on in just a few minutes, but first we're going to run over a few little news stories that's going on or upcoming here in the next week or so. First of all, next week, guys, it's going to be National Bourbon Day. Josh, you have anything special planned for National Bourbon Day next?
I'm embarrassedly going to tell you we don't have anything at this point. We feel like the house of bourbon, but I'd imagine between here and next Thursday, I guess is what you said, we'll have something going on. No. I do actually have a private VIP tasting happening. So
well, on the 14th, which marks the beginning of Bourbon Week, that's a Sunday. So I know that you guys are open on Sunday over there, but in the great state that I live in, we still have those old blue laws, and there's no. Well, I take that back. Northwest Arkansas, you can actually buy whiskey, beer, and whatever else you want up there. But boy, here in the Bible Belt,
I forget
it's
about
firmly tightened around us. So
okay, tightened.
Well, I'm trying to act like I'm tightening the belt, not whatever you have your mind in the gutter about over there, Roger.
Loosening the belt.
But the thing is, Bourbon Week is almost kind of like, I don't know. It cumulates on, is that the word, cumulates? Roger?
I like it.
Cumulates?
We'll go with it.
Cumulates, whatever. It ends on Father's Day. And I know in the whiskey business, Father's Day is usually probably a pretty good week to sell spirits, isn't it?
Absolutely. People need Father's Day gifts, and it's going to get used by Dad. It's not like a tie or whatever. I mean, give one a whiskey.
Well, you can tie one on. I mean, I imagine there'll be a lot of people tying them on, not ties, but hangovers and whatnot else. So, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if you have any of these over there in your showrooms or not, but moving right along, Russell's 13 is back, and it is celebrating another milestone for one of the Russells. And we're not talking about Jimmy this time. We're talking about his son, Eddie. 45 years as master distiller. Hell, if he keeps up, he might catch up to his dad one of these days.
What number is his dad,
his dad's 72, I believe. Is that right, Roger?
73.
73 now?
2 more years, he's 70. He'll hit 75 years.
75 years at Turkey is what you're saying.
As a master distiller.
Yeah, because we celebrated, he started at Wild Turkey in 1954.
Yeah.
And that's when Buster's opened, was 1954. So
wow, that's when Imboden Carpet started, was 1954.
And and so we did a special dinner back then over at Ruth's Chris here in town. It was awesome, celebrating our 50 years and Eddie's and Jimmy's, and that's when the tribute bottle that they did came out, which was really neat. And it's just a lot of fun. But also 50 years, Chevis was at that time in 1954, and they sent around Playboy bunnies to all the liquor stores, and
nice
because they started in 54 as well. So a little bit of it.
I don't know. Playboy bunnies. Playboy started in 54. I'd say that would probably trump Imboden Carpet. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, and it probably trumps Buster's as well. I mean, I'd much rather hang out with some Playboy bunnies than hang out with you. I'm just going to say that, Josh. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, it was.
For me,
that was a fun promotion, having a bunny in the store signing bottles.
Oh man, I'd have had them signing more than just bottles. Speaking of bottles, what do you guys think about this new anthology series or bottle that's coming out from Four Roses, 21-year-old, and just announced yesterday or the day before that Elijah Craig's coming out with a 21-year-old. So this bottle is old enough to drink itself now.
Seriously, that's a good point. I didn't know. That's the first time I'm seeing it. It's beautiful.
Well, that's why we have the Bourbon Legends, Josh. We keep you informed of actually what's going on in the world of whiskey, wine, whiskey, rye, and bourbon.
And y'all,
I hate to tell you, you might only see one or two of these.
What's that, Roger?
You might only see one or two of these.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's going to be very limited. You could say that again. So I'll have to check on it.
Yeah, it's the oldest release in the company's history. And I don't know. I'm just on the fence about these 21-plus year bottles or 20-year bottles. This Unity bottle, I don't think you can see, is up above my head. And it had, what was it, Roger? Some 30-year distillate put in it?
Distilled in it.
And they said they had to put such a little amount in it because, number one, they only had that little amount. But number two, they said it was really terrible. But it blended. See what I did right there, guys?
Yep.
It blended well. And so then they started selling it at Heaven Hill Springs.
You know, Jimmy, back to that dinner, coincidentally, he when I walked in, I looked at the bottle, it said Tribute, and I was like, oh man, this is your bottle. This is awesome. And I said, what do you think about it? He started shaking his head. And I went, what's the problem? He said, well, he goes, they came to me a few years ago, they were going to do this bottle for me. And they said, go in the warehouse, pick out, I don't know, 8 or 9 barrels, whatever it was. And we're going to put that in a special bottle in for you and call it Tribute. And, and he said, great. Well, what he didn't know is he picked out the barrels at that time and thought it was going to get bottled then. It stayed in the warehouse for another 3 years. So he looked at it. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, what's it taste like? He goes, a Louisville Slugger. So he thought it had too much. He thought it had too much wood in it, right? So back to your point is, what is the right age? And I think that obviously varies. We know certain things can go longer and not taste maybe say too woody, and then others really just are too pronounced with the wood flavor.
Right, and it also goes back to your own personal taste too. I prefer oak. I don't know about a Louisville Slugger, but you know how Jimmy is. He says, "Don't change a damn thing." He is stuck in his ways, and he really doesn't want to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Wild Turkey 101 was his bottle and his production, and it stays at that between that 5 and 8 year point with those barrels, and that's the sweet spot for it. And they're not going to change that because if they did, he'd come after him with a stick. But the other two, they want to find something to make themselves more unique, and they come up with these various older releases that maybe Jimmy wouldn't do, but they decide to do. And it'll be interesting see how these things go. And I know there's another. We talked about it last week. The Wild Turkey. What's it thing called, Craig? That's
gold full edition, 16 years. Boy, I sure am looking hard for one of those. The Four Roses 21 year, I could give a crap less about, but somebody's going to care about it. You know what I care about though? I care about truth in advertising. What about you guys?
Oh yeah.
Before you get off Four Roses, I mean, I care a lot about Four Roses. We sell a lot.
Well, there you go.
But I'll say this. I mean, I probably wasn't a big Four Roses fan until we started doing some single barrel picks, and then I was like, wait a second, there's some really nice stuff here. So I've become a big fan and enjoyed our barrel picks. And honestly, a lot of our pricing has kind of come back down because it was so limited. But, there's a lot of fun, different recipes out there to be had and to look at with Four Roses. So it's cool. This will be interesting to see what this 21 year is priced at. And,
I'm going to say it's not going to be cheap.
Yep.
No.
That's just me. Well, moving right along, talking about truth in advertising. I don't know if any of you guys are really aware of what Potter Jane is or who they are, but I'll just make it as short and sweet as I can. These were two major people over at Maker's Mark who has decided to leave Maker's and start their own distillery. It's a beautiful distillery between Bardstown and help me out here, Roger. We drove by it. Bardstown and Danville. And they swore up and down. It's Denny Potter is where the Potter comes from. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name right now. Jane, I can't think of the last name, but that's where they get Potter Jane. And they promised, they made a vow that they would never sell anything other than what they would distill themselves. And guess what? They got caught. They decided they were going to source some whiskey. But they came forth and they told the truth, and they said we would never do it, but we lied. And so what are we going to call this batch? The Big Vat Liar, Pants on Fire. So
I love it. I don't know. I love it. I think it's
I don't know who their marketing people are, but I mean,
they could have gone with James Bond, Never Say Never, right? I mean,
well, yeah, that was copyrighted though. See, they couldn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I love this. This is just because, honestly, I think everybody has great ideas when you first start a new distillery. Hey, we're only going to use our distillant. We're only going to use it. But then when they realize 4 to 5 years and you still got to pay the light bill, you still got to pay the power bill, maybe we need to do something. And the other thing that right now is, and we'll talk to Jonathan about this, there's an abundance of barrels out there that people are looking to sell, and they might have got a pretty good deal on some good barrels that they could blend together themselves to, produce something that they could do that is be a patch over until they got their juice up and going.
Well, hey, since you mentioned the guest, let's just go ahead and bring him on, the man of the hour, Mr. Jonathan Maisano of K. Luke Whiskey Company. We're going to bring Jonathan on right now. Well, hold on. There he is. What's going on, Jonathan?
How's it going, guys?
Doing good. I mean, do you know this guy here, Josh Hammond from Buster's? I don't know. Do you know the guy?
I've heard the name once or twice.
Today?
Good to see you.
You too, man.
Sure.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, all in a week, I was like, who's K. Luke? Who's Jonathan? And listen, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody right now. Somehow, some way, 6 bottles showed up right in front of me today. And I had no idea this was going to happen.
Look at
that. So,
telling you, the whiskey god shined down on you today.
Yeah, it's
cheers to that.
Evidently, I'll let you share some of that news. But for 4 of these bottles, I've got to do a big shout out to Ernest Peacock. Thank you.
Oh, Ernest
Peacock, the legend.
The man with the best last name in whiskey, Peacock. Yes. God, I'm so jealous of his last name, Peacock.
Very generous of him, and he was thinking about me. He was like, "Look, you can't be on that live stream with Jonathan and not have
be thirsty." Yeah, it's terrible.
So nice.
Well, Jonathan, we're glad that we finally rounded you up and got you off in a corner there. I know we've had some issues that's popped up here and there about getting on vacations, ball games, and between that and your travel, I think you may be the most traveled person in the world of whiskey.
Just try and do my little part, spread the word, keep people excited about what we're doing and tell the story and, my 20 plus year journey to get to this point. So,
well, don't give it all away because we've got a few questions that we're going to ask. But personally speaking, it's actually good to see your face again. I don't know how many times we've actually run into each other at tastings or events. I mean, at least a handful of times. I know
in multiple states too. To top
yeah,
off.
Right. Yeah, we've met in Kentucky and in Texas. That's 2 off the top of my head I can think of.
And a whole group of our legends were up in Indianapolis when he did a store visit at Red Barrel. And he was there, and they were loving it and got to taste a lot of his stuff. So
great group of guys I met that night up there, so really enjoyed it.
Yep. By the way, Jonathan, if you look at the top of the screen, we usually play a little drinking game, and it's called Drink When You Hear the Word blank. Tonight, since we have you on the show, we just decided that we'd put blend or blender or blended, any of those, anything, that's similar to blend. Everybody can take a drink there when you hear it.
Well,
maybe
no one will be
not us.
thirsty.
So say maybe not us so much, because we got to get through the show. But I wanted to start out, Jonathan, and asking you, without going into the whole story. I know a little bit of your background. For people that aren't familiar with you or your brand, can you kind of tell them who you are, what you do? And we're going to ask you, what does the name mean? Although if anybody knows, they should know. But if they don't, please tell them.
So I'll try to make it a short story here about kind of my family and how I got to this point. So you can see this picture here kind of in the background. So that's an old newspaper clipping. So my great-grandfather opened up the first package store in New Haven, Connecticut. They opened up December 10th, 1933. So 5 days after Prohibition ended. So my family's had a long history in the business. I opened up my own store, over 20 years ago, which, I had it for almost 20 years. I sold it 2.5 years ago to focus on K-Luke full time. So my family's been in the business a long time. It's a very difficult business. You put an incredible amount of hours in. It's very low margins. You work every holiday, every weekend. As Josh is living testament to, what'd you say, 74 years? How many years have you guys been doing it?
72 years.
72 years. I will say that the most exciting thing about retail is the people you get to meet, though, from all over the world. You deal with some really difficult situations, but you get to meet some really amazing people from all over. And it's just out of shot here of the camera, but up on my wall, you guys were talking about Wild Turkey a little while ago and cheesy gold foil. So I had an old Wild Turkey mirror, and the first time Jimmy Russell came to my store to promote my old Fantail Kentucky Spirit Barrel I picked, I told Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, I've got this old Wild Turkey mirror. He said, how old? I said, I don't know. My family opened the store in 33. Well, it ended up being from the early 50s, he said. And I got Jimmy, Eddie, and Bruce, all 3 generations, to sign it. And it's hanging here in my bar now. And just the people you get to meet, and they're just so incredible. I picked my first barrel of Four Roses in 2014. I got to meet Jimmy and Eddie Russell the first time and talk about the most down-to-earth, genuine people in the whiskey world. And I saw you talking about, Potter Jane. So I know Jane Bowie really well. So I picked one of the first Maker's Mark barrels outside of Kentucky and Indiana in the country. Got to meet Jane. That first trip to Kentucky in 2014, I got to go to Bill Samuel's home. So Bill made sure I was early on with Jane, getting to pick out a Maker's barrel. And of course, I met Denny back at Heaven Hill when he was over there before he left for Maker's Mark. And that press conference, for anybody who hasn't watched it, I suggest you go take a couple minutes and watch their press conference, because it is hilarious about the liar batch they got coming out. So if you know those two at all, they're a lot of fun. And for them to keep a straight face and make that like a political, press release of some catastrophic conspiracy they're covering up was really a lot of fun. So I started working in restaurants, at 16, just really fell in love with wine. I got sommelier certified by the time I was 21. I worked in this fine dining restaurant where our sommelier was the most laid back guy ever. If he was drinking beer, opening up a $5,000 bottle of wine, he had like the same mentality of let's share it, let's have fun. So I was very fortunate early on to drink some incredible wine. And when I opened up my retail store, my goal was to just do something different, right? Have the experience of helping customers be just as much fun as the bottles they're bringing home, which I've heard a ton about Buster's and Josh's store there. Same thing, it's a great environment. Not only do you have an incredible selection, but your staff and just your product knowledge and depth. And that was my goal. And I really had a lot of fun doing that for 20 years. Picking out single barrels, when I picked that first one, I was blown away by the people, the place, and just how different every barrel was. And that led me down my path. And then the shift happened during COVID, so we can kind of get into that more before K-Luke really came about. But so the brand name K-Luke, the entire company is just my wife and I, so me and Jennifer, but the company is named after our children. So the K stands for our daughter, Caitlin. So Caitlin's getting ready to turn 14, and then Luke is our son, Lucas. So that's where the K-Luke comes from. And if you look at the bottle, we had the feminine K, masculine L, that represents each one of the children, the barrel, the grain. Our packaging is very simple, very straightforward. I really wanted to pay homage to, the classic people I grew up drinking the bourbon, Wild Turkey, Fred No with Beam. I love Four Roses. So again, just we don't want to be any flashy packaging. We wanted the story to be in the label, the name, what it means, and then let the liquid tell the story when you get it in the glass. So that's always been the goal behind K-Luke and every release that we do.
Well, you guys have a reputation of finding exceptional barrels to put in your bottles. What are some of those keys when you're out there, Jonathan, and you're looking for evaluating the whiskey in the barrel? Can you kind of just walk us a little bit through the process?
Sure. So, I look at the same thing when I'm rating my barrels for K-Luke that I did when I was picking out single barrels. Always blind, always let the whiskey speak to me in the glass. We currently source from 8 different distilleries. Most of those would buy multiple mash bills, a whole variety of ages. So what that gives me is an incredible spice cabinet to build the blends from. I tell people I look at blending like being a chef. No chef is going out raising the cattle or growing the produce. They're sourcing from the very best people out there that specialize in, whether it be fresh fish or foraging mushrooms, whatever it may be. And a chef finds all these great ingredients, and then their job is to properly blend them together, right, and create a multi-layered whiskey experience, so we call it, but to create a well-balanced dish where you have a little spice, you have a little sweetness, there's some citrus, but no one flavor should overtake the blend. When I announced the brand coming out in 21, everyone thought we were going to do single barrels, which would be a way easier path for me, right? But I really wanted to put my, again, I've dedicated my entire adult life to studying wine and whiskey and honing in my palate. So that's why we do small batch blends. The other product you guys talked about a little while ago is Four Roses. I absolutely love Four Roses, especially small batch limited edition. When I picked that very first barrel of Four Roses back in 2014, I'm like, there's all the different yeast strains, recipes, ages. There's so much complexity there. And that Four Roses small batch limited, being in retail, I could have got any limited bottle I wanted every year. And the one bottle I took home for myself was Four Roses small batch limited edition. I've got probably a 12-year vertical of it up here. I've got the single barrel that Brent did when he took over as master distiller. So I picked with Jim Rutledge back in the day and then picked with Brent. My first barrel was the other side of my room you can't see. I've got barrel heads up on the wall above my wine cellar here. And I did it just like the distilleries did. When they did their first barrel, maybe in, say, Jim Beam, I don't know, it was, 1920, right? And then the millionth barrel might have been like 1960. But then each barrel head that goes by, the gap gets smaller and smaller. That's what my barrel heads look like up my wall. So barrel number 1, I picked in 2014. Barrel number 100 was looks like that's January 20th of 20. And then from there, barrel number 200 was in 21. So like you can see my 400 barrels, how tight the window got from, it took me 6 years to go from barrel number 1 to barrel number 100. But I did a Four Roses for number 1, for number 100. And I'm just a big fan of that product with all those different layers of complexity to it. So that was really my base behind K-Luke. And it's really cool for me when I go to whiskey festivals. Brent Elliott, who I've kept in close contact with over all these years, he always makes the point to come by and come see me and come taste my whiskey, which is really something special for me. And being on the other side, Jane and Denny always made a point to come up and taste my stuff when they're out. So it's just really cool for me to kind of come full circle from picking barrels with all these legends, and people that I have an incredible amount of respect for, to seeing them come to my table now and taste my products.
I got to tell you something. I've got something that I've been holding on to since I found it until we got you on the show. I made a bet with Craig. We're going to get you on the show. And I hunted this up in the lovely state of Mississippi. This is your batch one. Batch number 1 of your first blend. And
don't do it, Roger. Don't do it.
It's been certified.
You know what? You got to enjoy it.
Well, that's the only way to have it. You got to have it.
So that batch number 1, I got a message from Fred Minnick, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm reviewing batch number 1." And like, it was 25 minutes. He's like, "Can you send me the information?" I'm like, "Fred, I put the spec sheet." So in front of me in my store, I've got Greg Metz from Old Elk standing in front of me and his national sales guy, Richie. And we're on our way to host an event at a local restaurant for Old Elk. And they had just tasted it, and Richie goes, "Man, that's, the whiskey's great, but just remember, Fred doesn't like it. Your brand's dead. Your kids are going to starve." I'm like, "Thanks a lot, man. I wasn't nervous till you made that comment." And by the time I drove over to the restaurant, which was 5 minutes from my store, Fred was already on there reviewing it and talking about it. And we actually won that first blind tasting. There was Booker's and 4 or 5 other like legacy brands. And that was really kind of the jump start there. We made Fred's top 100 whiskey list every year since. We've had at least one barrel strength offering on there, but batch number 1 is what kicked it off. And he talked about like the depth and the richness, kind of some of the spice tones that you get in Booker's, but being more refined. And it's been a really exciting journey. We put an incredible amount of time to create the blends. I think back to your original question before I got sidetracked and all the history of my love of bourbon. It's just really about finding. Every barrel has its own personality. Not to say it's good or bad, but every barrel kind of has its place in the blend. You just have to find the right blend, just like the right dish it's going to go with. I take handwritten notes on all my barrels. And then when I go to create a blend, I sit down with about 100 barrel samples on my table here. I'm like, okay, I know here's the end goal. How do we get there? What's the journey? So I look solely on my notes and I create about a dozen blends. And then my wife and I start blind tasting through them. We don't discuss them. We talk about them after the fact, and we talk about what did she like, what did I like. And if both of us really enjoy a blend, it moves on to the next round. If she liked it and I thought something was missing or vice versa, I reblend, we retaste. And that takes us, 6 weeks or so. And then it's like, okay, well, how do we know somewhere like Buster's that people can come in and buy K-Luke and be excited about it, right? How do we know it's going to compare to what is the first thing people are going to do to enjoy bourbon? They're going to go home and run it in blind bourbon flights against things like Booker's and Old Carter, Four Roses, all these well-respected brands. We do the same thing. We run blind tastings, and if we don't win, I'm like, okay, what was missing? Now it's not a matter of good or bad. It's like, what was missing layers and depth-wise? I reblend, we retaste, we go through it. That's how we narrow down the final blend. Tasting's supposed to be fun, and it's everyone picks up on different notes and different profiles. There's a big difference between, good whiskey and bad whiskey and whiskey that's just not for you, right? I mean, everyone has a different opinion of what they like. So I try to remind people all the time in tastings, it's not about good or bad, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's like, let's just have fun, sit down, taste the whiskeys, get them talk about what did you taste, what did I taste? And that's what whiskey's really all about.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's part of the process of blending. And, I've only been able to blend a few bourbons, not many, and it's been kind of a surprising thing to do that sometimes, you put 3 good barrels together and you think it's going to be something great. And it's like, no, it's not really. And then you could put 3 bad barrels together and go, wow, that's really something. Has that happen to you often? Or,
I'll create a blend sometimes, and on paper, it makes perfect sense. Right. And, we'll taste it in a blind tasting. My wife's like, this sucks. What did you do here? I'm like, I'm just going solo. I got to have a starting point, and sometimes we taste it and it's like right from the start, I try to tweak it and it's like, no, we got to keep going back to the original, the first blend I put together on these 10 barrels. My first experience with blending was with Chris Morris at Woodford. When you do a Woodford barrel pick, you're not actually picking a barrel, you're creating a small batch blend. It's 2 barrels. And like Josh said, I mean, I don't know how many I did, probably 8 of those. And I'll never forget the first one I tasted. You taste barrel 1, 2, and 3. And it's like barrel 1 is, maybe it's red fruit, maybe barrel 2 is citrus, maybe 3 is spice driven. And it's like you blend 1 and 2 together, and now there's no red fruit or citrus. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense based off what I just tasted 2 minutes ago. And you start playing with them, you realize that the science behind blending and the magic of your palate is incredibly difficult, and it's also super rewarding when you get it dialed in, you get it right. And as we've moved up from 4 barrels that we started off with batch number 1, Roger cracked open, to 10 barrels now, the amount of time and pressure and depth is. It takes me so long, and as a little batch 2 there,
yeah, that's
it's just incredible. It's so hard. The more barrels you blend in, the more layers and complexity, and the harder it is to figure which barrel to pull out and change. I've kind of talked to some guys above me, like in the next tier, and they do lot blending, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? They're like, oh, you just you blend. If you pull, say, 18 barrels out of the same rick, the same run of barrels, they're going to taste the same. And I'm like, well, that's not true. I've had barrels I've tasted side by side that were so different. Same day's distillate, same, yeast, mash bill, everything. Same age. You wouldn't know they're the same distillery. They're so different. There's so much magic and flavor change in the wood, whether it's 6, 8, 10, 12 years, that, it's got to all be done by taste. I don't know any other way to do it. So that everything we do is by taste. So.
And I know you mentioned that the distilleries you work with right now, but have you noticed anything in the last year? Because we know things have slowed down a little bit with certain distilleries. And is there any more availability of certain barrels that you're being offered that are kind of like exciting to think about or looking at, those type things?
Oh, there's definitely more depth of barrels out there, but I try to remind people, I'm like, I think you guys talked about a little bit before I came on with the choosy gold foil, ages and everything. People get so caught up on age, and I'm like, guys, I can tell you when I pick barrels at Heaven Hill of Elijah Craig, or when I was picking Knob Creek barrels, I mean, Josh, you probably did the same thing. At one point in Knob Creek, they were begging us to buy 15-year-old barrels, and I said, look, I don't like them. It's way too oaky. I want that 9 to 12 year, that sweet spot. And if you talk to master distillers, someone like Jimmy Russell, they're going to tell you, 10 years plus or minus 2 years, like that's really the sweet spot. All this super hyper aged. I'm not saying you can't have some amazing, 15, 20-year-old bourbons, but you really have to hunt for the right barrel where you still get enough distillate and fruit and citrus where it's not just all wood. I mean, I can't tell you how many things I bought, at several $100s a bottle that I'm like, we'll taste them in blind tasting. And I'm like, I would never sit and drink this again. It's too oaky. And even some of the Four Roses batches, as much as I love them, even some of those for Jennifer, she'll taste them and like, there's just too much wood, there's not enough nuance and finesse, and a female palate being so much more sensitive and picking up on so many more notes. I try to tell them, like, you just got to get the whiskey in the glass, like just pour it unbiased and taste it. And that's how I picked all my barrels, because I never cared about any sort of, recipe of Four Roses or age. I could care less. All I wanted was the most exciting whiskey in the glass. And that's how I picked all 400 plus barrels every time I picked them.
That's great.
I was super fortunate to get to pick almost all mine in person too at the distilleries, with the master distiller. And Josh, that's changed. That's a 9-day difference. That was a big part of how I got out of the retail and doing barrels and going to do my own thing. There was so much market shift during COVID. We could have a whole nother podcast about that. I try not to get too off the rails on some of my experiences during COVID with big companies, but
hey, COVID was a challenge for a lot of folks. And yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was just going to say, before we get any deeper into this discussion, I want to do something for our viewers out there. And tonight, if you guys want to get a sample pack, we're going to do let me run this down. We're going to do a batch 3, just a regular batch 3. We're going to do a 100 proofer. We're going to throw in a sample of that. We're going to throw in a toasted batch number 5 sample. Then we're going to throw in the batch 15 sample. And Roger's going to throw in the number 1 batch sample as well. So if you guys want to get in on this, all you have to do is hashtag KLuke, all capital letters, and we'll give that away towards the end of the show. All right, so hashtag KLuke. Now, I do have to specify something. The way that this StreamYard is set up, you have to be a subscriber of our show, The Bourbon Legends. It's actually called Thirsty Nite Live, but you have to be a subscriber of The Bourbon Legends. Otherwise, you can type KLuke all you want, and it will not actually send it over. It's some issue with the software. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out there and then let everybody have a chance to get a drink, catch your breath. And I had a question for Jonathan, but now I'm going to go off the rails. This is live TV, folks. May come back to that other question. But Jonathan, when you're out, even when you were a store owner and you were picking for your own, store, and now that you're picking and you're trying to do blends, can you help the audience? Some of these people are newbies. And can you kind of go through the process of actually how do you taste a product? Like, what is your process? Do you pour? Do you let it set for a certain amount of time? Do you add water to it? Do you nose them all first, and then you come back and kind of walk us through that process?
Sure. So say I'm at a barrel picking like Four Roses, right? We use like a kind of a standard. So you're tasting 10 barrels there at a time. So it's a very daunting task, to narrow it down to the one barrel that you're buying. So for me, I always go through all the whiskeys. I always like to nose them all first, take notes on all of them. Then I like to go back, have a taste. But I always tell people, if it's your first sip of a bourbon for the day, you really need kind of a small taste, kind of get it all over your palate. Don't really focus on tasting it. Just let your palate kind of acclimate to just the, alcohol content and the proof and just, what whiskey gives you on your palate. And then from there, I start getting into tasting. And I'm a big believer when I'm tasting for work, right? Whether it's blending K-Luke or I was picking single barrels, I spit probably 95% of what I'm tasting. Now, I do want to swallow a little bit to get the whole experience, but most time in the initial taste, I'm really just kind of going through, tasting it, spitting it out, getting all over my palate. People don't understand how easy it is to get intoxicated and start numbing your palate, start to lose your senses of aromatics and flavor. And I always tell them when they're doing the first barrel pick, or even just the first, tasting with friends, like, you got to take it easy. Like, take your time, spit it out. Just enjoy going through it. Now, if you're just drinking at home with friends, it might be a little bit different. But if you're tasting for the focus of tasting, you can't swallow every sip of every whiskey you taste. You're never going to make it through the event, especially in picking barrels. We also use the liquid death water here at home, the black can that's got just a light sparkle to it. And then I'm a big fan of oyster crackers. I got that from Stephen Fonte picking barrels at Limestone Branch doing Yellowstone barrels. Those oyster crackers, very neutral, just a little something soft to have on the palate. I do try to get through tasting every whiskey at least once in the flight before having any of the oyster crackers, just because I'm trying to keep my palate as set as possible. You also don't want to have any kind of crazy food before you're going to taste. Anything real spicy, very acidic, like barbecue sauce. Try to stick to more neutral, or have a couple hours before you're going to taste, because that'll change your palate quite a bit. And another thing people don't think about is your mood. If you're in a bad mood, if the kids got in trouble, if you're having a bad day, I can tell you that is drastically going to change your tasting experience. It's part of why we taste our K-Luke blends over and over and over. I talk to people like, oh yeah, we created this blend today. I'm like, oh, like the final? They're like, no, the whole thing. Like, someone's selling it. I'm like, I don't know how that's possible. I mean, we taste for months on end. We taste in the morning, afternoon, evening, and there's times we'll sit down and taste, and one of us will just walk away, and it's like, something's just not right with my palate, food, attitude, whatever it might be. But I just know, like, I can't taste. I'm much better at tasting early in the morning than I am later on in the day. So, I just have to really be focused on. If I'm not focused on tasting, drinking and tasting are two totally different things. So those are kind of my most important.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
You just kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's funny how you got to create the setting sometimes and to be in the right place. And, and we get customers that come into our shop, and these ladies have been over to Europe and they're buying, some French or Italian wines. And they're like, why does it not taste as good over here? And I'm like, well, tell me what you were doing over there. You're sitting on a veranda overlooking the Mediterranean, a guy, long hair, not me, named Francesco, is like, pouring nice wine and with this accent. So a lot goes into that. And, you said something earlier about tasting wine and having that appreciation for wine. It is fascinating that we're sitting here doing the same thing with whiskey now, isn't it? And that's basically what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. It's
and I agree with everything you said other than spitting. Okay. So small sips, you can do it. One little small sip goes a long way.
So, for me, kind of back to my tasting process, if I'm picking out barrels or even working on the blend, so I'll taste through, again, back to Four Roses, say 10 barrel samples. I'm going to taste through all of them initially. I'm going to pretty much spit almost all that whiskey. I'll swallow a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, right off the bat, there'll be a couple barrels that just don't speak to me, right? Whether it's too spicy, too mild, too soft, whatever it may be. So out of 10 barrels, I can usually eliminate, 2 right off the bat. Then from there, as I taste through them again, I'm like, okay, what are my main characteristics? Am I pulling out? Are they more fruit driven? Are they more citrus? Are they more, that confectionery, dark chocolate, caramel, toffee? Are they more spice driven? And then I start pitting those barrels against each other. So all my, fruit driven barrels. And then I start breaking down more. I'm like, is it red fruit? Is it black fruit? Then is it ripe, fresh fruit? Is it more like baked fruit? And then I start just trying to hone down those barrels stylistically to okay, well, what's the best one that's fruit driven? What's the best one that's rich? What's the best one that's spice driven? And then run those into tasting. So I just keep paring it down until I get to okay, if this is the last whiskey I get to drink, that's what I'm looking for. And I look at that, everything, whether I was picking single barrels or creating blends, I'm like, if this is it, if this is the last bourbon I get to drink for the rest of my life, that's what I'm looking for, to create that experience. And that's really my kind of my big picture of how I go from point A to point Z, whether it's in one tasting or 4 months of tasting. That's the whole goal for me.
Jonathan, what flavor profile or grain recipe or whiskey style right now that you think bourbon drinkers aren't paying enough attention to? I'd be kind of fascinated to see what you think.
man, there's just so much out there. I hear like finished whiskeys get a bad rap, right? I'm like, well, if you got to do it right though. It's all about. So we actually went out. We did some single barrels of finished bourbons this past year. But a couple of important things, right? The base blend is super important. That's going into that finishing barrel. So we actually say we were going to do a port wine finish, bourbon. Well, I'll sit and create a bunch of different blends that I think make sense. They'll be a little more spice driven, a little bit richer. So the port's not going to, overwhelm those. And then again, I'm a big wine guy, so I'll take my Corvin, pull a bit of port out of a bottle, put a little splash in those different whiskeys. We let it sit for a couple weeks. We go back, we blind taste through them. We're trying to find the right base whiskey. That's my starting point. Then from there, it's about how much time extraction in the barrel. The last ones we did last year in the summer, it was super hot in Kentucky. So we waited to lay them down because I'm like, look, it's super hot. We knew kind of roughly when we wanted the bottling to be for the accounts going to OND. I didn't want to over extract. So you got to taste them all the time. When you lay down a whiskey and finish barrel, you got to taste it every couple of weeks, every month, and find the right balance. I also think in finished products, they need to be barrel strength, so it doesn't get lost with the finish. You still taste core whiskey. So that's one of them I think that people have I think there's also been a lot of not great finished products out there, which skew the customer. Rye has really made a comeback, I think, the last 2 years. I know when we first started doing toast barrel rye, I'd go do tastings, and I'd have people go, I'm not even going to try it. I'm like, well, look, it's either free because I'm tasting in a store, or you paid for the event, you've already paid for it. Like, just try it. If you don't like it, spit it out, pour it out. It's not going to hurt my feelings. The whole idea of going to a tasting event is to try things you don't normally drink, right? I don't drink gin, but I've tasted every gin I've got an opportunity to taste because I'm looking for, I want to know the difference between them, especially as a retailer. You have to know about every product from $10 a bottle to $1,000 a bottle. No one cares what you drink. They want to know when they're coming to look for something specific, and you need to truthfully be able to guide them and say, hey, well, this has more of this flavor, which what you just described you wanted. So I really think it's just, I tell people all the time, you got to find what speaks to you. And really the most exciting thing to do is go to great restaurants, whiskey bars where you can taste flights, go to stores where you can taste their barrel picks. Honestly, you just have to taste things and figure out what you like. And if you can go to your favorite retailer and you can go to Josh and say, hey, I love this barrel, and this barrel, but I didn't like these two. Can you tell me why? And I'll say, well, sure. These were kind of leaning more, whether it was age or spice or whatever it may be. Same thing with wine. I had people come in. I had a lady one time with Chardonnay, and I'm like, do you want lean, more crisp, or do you want real buttery and rich? And I could tell she had no idea what I was talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to get any more wine terms. I said, just tell me 3 Chardonnays you typically drink. And she told me. And I'm like, okay, well, you want malolactic fermentation, you want surly aging, you want rich, buttery, creamy.
That's it.
You need to get that I know Chardonnay back down. You're not going to like that at all, right? But that's our job is on the retail side is to guide people correctly.
Yeah. It's fascinating to go through that. I mean, someone wants a lighter whiskey, someone wants a heavier whiskey, someone wants a spicier whiskey. I mean, I put it this way. I've been doing this for 33 years, and Luke, I'm not sure how long you've been. Jonathan, I'm not sure how long you've been doing it, but again, it's just kind of fascinating where we are today, and seeing kind of the explosion of innovation in bourbon and whiskey in general, and just where it's going. It's just fun, and see what you're doing, in the art of blending. I think that's something that's so unique and needed, and clearly you've got a great following. And look, we want to get you up here to Memphis. So, what are we going to do about that?
Well, that was our other surprise evening. So I was fortunate to talk to Josh earlier today, and we are a go in Memphis. So we are coming. You guys will see K. Luke in Memphis finally for the first time in early July. And Josh and I are working on a little something special too. So stay tuned to the Buster's Facebook page, social media, ours, his email newsletter. But we're working on me and Josh hanging out and tasting some bourbon with people live and at a Buster's location in the very near future. So Keep an eye out for that.
Oh, whoa. Time out. Does that mean, Jonathan, that I'm going to get to see you in another state now?
If you're going to come hang out with Josh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tennessee now, Kentucky, and Texas. God dang.
You got to have legends there.
Absolutely.
Craig, you're going to take off work to get over here.
I can probably pull a few strings.
I'll take off retirement. Okay, I'll take a day off my retirement and come on over.
Roger, where do you live at?
I live in North Little Rock, so I'm about 2 hours from Memphis. I know we won't even talk about Arkansas, because we only got 3 million people in this town, and Memphis has got a lot more coverage.
Whoa, Roger, in the whole state, not the whole
state. Yeah. But it's going to be great, and we'll have a Legends event if we get it ahead enough advance in it. We'll have a bunch of Legends show up there, and we'll make it a lot of fun, because we've got a lot of folks that have tried your blends before, guys. Just so I said it, and they've enjoyed them, but they're always just a little hesitant because they have to go search for it everywhere else. Well, if it's available and they can taste through it at the store, local shop, and Buster's, it'll be a good quick sell.
I didn't know what to think or say because I hadn't had any K-Luke, right? Now I've gone through 5, and I'm enjoying the absolute hell out of them. This is awesome.
He's not spit a damn one out yet either.
I haven't either, if you haven't noticed.
Small sipper, but what about this thing? Can you tell me about this baby?
So K-Luke Batch 8. So that one, it's funny. Before the podcast, I was actually at an event over at the Bourbon, which is a big MGM casino here. We were pouring Batch 8 tonight. Here, I'll have a little pour with you. Let me find a.
Hey, dude, that's delicious.
Let's all have a pour of the 15.
I don't know who that
is. Batch 8.
Gosh, did he bring you the current? Did he bring you the 15?
Did you say 15 or was it the 8?
This is 8. This is the Batch 8.
Did Ernest bring you the 15 also?
Oh,
the new one?
Yes, he did. And I was going to get to that next.
Oh, whoa. Have some 8 and we'll drink some 15 together. That's what I've got here in my glass. 15.
All right. I'm going to do the 15 with you right now.
You're probably well past that, but that's also our 100 proof small batch. So the 2 things we'll be launching and coming up there in Memphis with Buster's, we'll be launching our 100 proof small batch. It'll be batch 6, the next one coming out, bottled on June 24th, and then batch 16 barrel strength. So for anybody who's not familiar with the brand, our 100 proof small batch, that is a 7 to 9 year product. Retails about $55 a bottle. So this has been off the market for 2.5 years. Batch 5 was the reintroduction, and we only made it to 4 states out of our 8 because we had so much demand for it. But batch 6 getting bottled on June 24th. We're going to try our best to get it to all states. But I can guarantee you that we'll have some coming up here too out to Memphis for the launch.
Nice.
And then our barrel strength, like this batch 15 is an 8 to 12 year blend. So most batches are kind of somewhere in that realm. But start with batch 16, it'll be age stated, a minimum age of 8 years on the label. And it'll be in that 8 to 12 year range on everything we do on the barrel strength. So you'll see that label change coming here soon.
Thank you, Ernest.
That was one of my questions for you, and you just answered the question. Are you going to start aging? Putting the dates on there.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really care as a consumer. Again, it's what I've always picked barrels, but I've always drank things. But I know for someone like Josh and his staff, it makes life a little easier. Just people seeing a minimum to kind of know what they're getting into. So, like I said, 100 proof will be 7 to 9 year, and barrel strength will be 8 to 12. Even on Toasted Bourbon, like which you guys no one's seen this yet, it hasn't actually started hitting shelves, but it's just now starting to ship out. So batch 5, Kelvin Toasted Bourbon. Is that where that batch is that you have?
Well, this one's batch 3, which is my.
Okay, I was gonna say no way you have a 5 already, but yeah, batch 5, which we just shipping out this week to retailers. That's an 8 to 10 year small batch. Well, Craig, that doesn't count.
I was gonna say I don't know where I may have got this bottle from, but. I won't tell.
How many states are you in again, Jonathan?
So we're in 8 states right now, mostly southern states. Easy for me to get to. It's again with it only being Jennifer and I until the Kay and the Luke are old enough to come to work. It's very important. I love to go and meet people. I love to go into the markets. We don't have anyone working for us doing those things. We are going to start to bring on a few brand ambassadors just to be able to get out and get some more kind of store support.
Well, I think you got me up here.
I love getting out and meeting people, and I want to come out and meet you in person, come see your store, and again, it's really important to me. I want to build a long-term relationship with you, with your customers, and I want people to believe that when you hand them a bottle of K-Luke, for $50, $100, whatever it may be, that it's not only going to be it's not only going to be good, but it's going to over deliver. It's going to be exciting. And they can take it home and run it blind with their friends against their favorite bourbons. And they're going to come back and say, hey, when did you say that batch 16 was coming in? What month is that next one rolling out? So,
yeah, because your method really isn't to keep bottles on the shelf all year round. It's like you don't make enough of it to go around.
Right? Yeah, that's it. I mean, we just want to we want to make sure to over deliver on every product. So
that's awesome. Tell one question I got is, tell me about Ocean Springs and your setup down there. What, tell me what your shop's like. Or do you
So when I sold my store. So we have no retail presence, to be honest, as you can probably appreciate. After being a brick and mortar for 20 years, I'm enjoy spending more time at home with Jennifer and the kids, and being out in the baseball field and softball field and volleyball court with the kids.
I'm sure my wife needs to be hearing that right now.
Yeah. But yeah, my store. I mean, from hearing about your store, my store was small. We're 2,000 square foot of retail space, but another 1,000 in the back. But again, I picked 415 barrels, and we would, toward the end, I mean, most barrels we were going through them within a day or two period. I mean, I tried to build it up. We would try to keep some 20 or so barrel picks, people traveling coming through, but we had a really honed in system. My dad, who passed away a year ago, like, he would answer the phone, because if I would get on the phone and talk to customers, I'd start telling about the barrel pick. He's like, just sell the bottle and move to the next phone call. So the locals used to joke, and people used to call into our store. It was like a radio station. The average person would call about 200 times to get through. So we'd send it out through our email. We'd usually do a 1 bottle limit, and we'd put the barrel out there, and I would sell them live in the store out of the counter, and he would answer the phone. And it was a pretty wild experience. But again, people appreciate the time and effort we put into picking barrels, just like we're doing with these blends. We want to make sure it's something special. Just like, again, Josh, that's what I've heard about you guys forever, is my guys going up there and buying barrel picks from you guys, and just the whole experience of, it's not just a store, it's really an experience coming in shopping.
Thank you.
And that's really what it should be, right? People don't always know when they walk into a store, whether they're looking for a gift or something for their husband or wife, or a dinner. Sometimes people in this business want to talk down to people, and especially on the sommelier side, on the wine side, and that was something that our sommelier was like, look, we're here to help guide people and make this an experience. I don't care whether they're buying one glass of wine, a $5,000 bottle of wine. He's like, this experience should be the same, and that's always been my mentality. Is I want to help people enjoy the journey.
No question, you hit the nail on the head there, Jonathan. It's not about what we like or what I like, because someone else can enjoy something else, and there would be no need for all these products if it was all
absolutely.
And so, no doubt, it's give the customer what they want. Try to get them to an area and a place where they're going to be happy and feel confident about what they're spending money on is going to deliver when they get home to drink it. That's it. No question.
And again, you want to make that experience, because some people are very nervous coming into a store and they're overwhelmed. They see thousands of bottles, and I always looked at, like, our job as a retailer was to make it fun, right? We want to make it, whether it's, a group of guys who are 21, 22 sitting down trying stuff for the first time, or somebody hosting a, real nice dinner at their house, or buying a gift. It's all part of that experience, because it's just good for the industry as a whole, for all of us to enjoy this, and I try and tell people, like, just have fun with what's in your glass, and come back and tell me why you didn't like. If you can just give me a couple of things you tasted, whether it's wine or whiskey, that you disliked.
That's right.
Anything you can help me with, I'm going to be able to help you more. And the more you get to know each person, I tell people all the time, someone's perception of sweet and dry is wildly different. And you could ask, 10 people the same question, get 12 different answers. If you ask them again next week, you're going to get 14 more, different answers. So it's really getting to know each person, know what they like. And, when I picked out barrels, I also kind of looked at it the other way too. On that side of picking out barrels, people used to always ask, are you picking to trends? And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm picking, again, what I'm going to go and drink. And I've spent my whole career for people to trust me in my palate, and that's how I'm picking my barrels. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Not every barrel may be for every person. I picked some, I mostly picked, pretty standard bourbon, but I've got some crazy stuff. Like, I don't know if you've got a product called the Whiskey Witch from Spirits of French Liquor out of Indiana. It's this crazy malt. Like, some days I'll drink it, it tastes like an orange creamsicle. Some days it's super smoky. Some days it's like anise. It's the most insane thing I've ever picked. And I'm like, this is not a bourbon drinker's, like, this is a adventurous palate. You like a range of whiskey, and you could sit and have it with a cigar, taste it totally different. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever tasted. That's why I picked it there, right? It was a wild experience.
That was actually kind of one of our questions that we wanted to ask. Is there something that you've actually picked before that you went against your conventional wisdom? And did it turn out better than expected, or maybe was it a flop in your opinion?
Never something if I didn't believe in it. So I'll give you a good example of I got to get to know the guys from Starlight really well. I got to know Christian really well. And one day I was talking to him. He said, "Hey, I want to offer you a cigar batch." And I said, "Look, I appreciate it, but I'm going to pass." He said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Look, I tasted them and it's just too overwhelming for me." And this is before Amarana was a thing, right? Like there was nobody saw Amarana. And he said, "Do you mind telling me which ones you tried?" I said, "Sure." I got him here on my phone. I showed him. He's like, "Yeah, all those are very extracted." He's like, "Do you mind if I run you some second fill, shorter time period?" I said, "Sure." I'm all about trying anything. I tasted them. I said, man, I appreciate it's better, but it's still not for me. He said, "I'd hell with that. Next time you come, we're going to run you third fill barrels. We're going to run them real short time and see what you think." And I tasted those, and I was like, "Okay, now you're speaking my language, right?" It was very soft, subtle. And it was just a great bottle. But again, I'm never going to pick something. I'm never going to bottle something that I don't believe in, that it can stand up to anything you want to put it up against. People ask about the awards. I know some people don't care at all. I'm like, for me, really the awards are showing consistency of what we're doing. We enter in very broad categories. And I just submit whatever awards coming up at San Francisco, whatever we're bottling right then, that's what we send them. I never try to cherry pick a specific batch that, maybe Fred loved this batch. We're going to send that to everybody. I'm like, no, we just send whatever the next batch is. We send it out, and the cards fall where, wherever they land, that's where they fall. And to me, that just shows consistency. I tell you, whether you believe in them, don't believe in them, it's all about just trying to show the consistency of what we're doing, and that you're not going to be disappointed buying one of our bottles. That's our goal. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question because the last few years, you started doing a lot of these red label single barrels
finishes
with a lot of different finishes. And this one particular one, because you can't read it, it's an extended age in a Kelvin toasted barrel. And if anybody knows Roger knows Kelvin gets me going. And then you put toasted in it, and I'm there because I love every one of the toasted bourbons you've done. And I actually went to a store and they didn't have it in the store, and the lady that was working behind the counter had it as a sample. She says, "Well, we're not going to be able to get any more of it because we know it's sold out." She gave me their sample bottle because she knew how much I really wanted it.
Didn't hurt your feelings, did it?
No, it didn't hurt my feelings at all. And
didn't hurt mine either because nothing is better than free whiskey, and
whiskey is the only way to go. And she goes, "We can't sell it because we've opened it," and I'm like, "All right." And my buddy Mike Brock, shout out to him. He's one of our bourbon legends. He's one that kind of helped me sweet talk her a little bit. But
so, which one is that, Roger?
About these single barrels.
Which store is that from?
This is Specs Fine Wine and Liquors.
So Specs over in Texas. So we only did a couple of those. So basically, what those are, they're extended age. We took our Kelvin toasted bourbon, and once we dump out those barrels, we use most of them to age our toasted rye in. So our toasted rye is one-time used barrels. So I actually buy these barrels from Kelvin just for us. So this is our batch 5 Kelvin toasted bourbon. So this will be the next one you guys will see popping up in the next 2 weeks in retailers online. This one's finished 9 weeks in Kelvin barrels, but our Kelvin barrels start with batch 5. We did medium toast barrels, heavy toast heads, no additional char because I didn't want to add any more wood spice because it's already 8 to 10 year bourbon in there. We want to add that creamy mouthfeel texture. So once we dump these out, like I said, we do our rye, which you'll see our rye come out in September. But the rye is always aged in those one-time used Kelvin barrels.
Yep.
Typically, 3 to 4 months on the rye. But those extended age bourbons. So Jennifer and I created a custom 4-barrel batch of bourbon, and then we laid it down in 3 of our Kelvin barrels. At that time we did those, we were blending. We were doing mostly medium toast barrels. So say a 10-barrel bourbon would go into an 8-barrel blend of Kelvin barrels. 6 of those would be medium toast. 2 of them were heavy toast. But I switched on batch 5. I wanted to incorporate flavors even more and more well-rounded. So we're doing medium toast on all the staves, heavy toast on both heads. But that bourbon right there is aged 8 months in a one-time used Kelvin barrel. So as soon as we dump out the bourbon, we have the batch ready to go at Bardstown. they refill it, and that's where that single barrel came from. It's basically my version of a double oaked, but a one-time used Kelvin toasted barrel. So the oak is much more polished and integrated instead of being so in your face like a lot of double oak bourbons. Kind of goes back to my finish thing. If you over extract them, it can be too much. So I knew if we were going to go extended time, I wanted a one-time used barrel. And again, it was only used, probably 10 weeks was the original bourbon in that Kelvin before it was dumped, and then instantly refilled the next batch. So it's still plenty of new barrel life. It just takes off some of the tannic wood edges. If you go, 5, 6, 8 months in a brand new barrel, you can add a lot of too much wood where it overpowers everything else.
All right. Well, I got to give you my review because I just fresh cracked that as well because I waited. I've been patient to get you on the show, and I really appreciate you coming on. But that is amazing. And I have to shove a shout out to Craig because he was down in Texas and grabbed that for me. And
yeah, right after I saw you in the parking lot there. Remember that?
Yeah, it's a crazy chance. I'm walking out of a Specs and he's walking in. Were we in Houston? Was that in Houston?
No, we were in Beaumont. Beaumont,
okay.
Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival.
I was trying to remember which one of the. So I went on a spree. I went across like a bunch of the stores across the state. So I was trying to remember which city it was I ran into. I was thinking it was Houston, but yeah, Beaumont. But yeah, it's just so hopefully enjoy it. But again, it's our version of a double oak, just softer oak edges on there instead of being so in your face.
I'm gonna throw a little. Josh, you need to get one of those if you can.
Yes, I made notes.
Talk him into doing it again. We need one of those.
Well, he's coming in July.
Really good.
Jonathan said he's coming in July next month. I'm not going to show you the date because I don't need. Well, we'll see what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing yet, but
well, you let us know because we'll be there. That's just simple as that.
We went ahead and got something on the calendar, so he's coming, and then we need to figure out what we're doing. But Jonathan, bring the gamut so we can, taste a lot of different things and explore your portfolio. That would be fantastic.
I swear to the Lord Savior Jesus Christ up there in heaven. I told Roger I missed my calling. I should have been a matchmaker.
The timing couldn't have been. And I told Craig, I said, Craig, the timing couldn't have been any better. Like I was telling Josh, we are just finalizing this Memphis deal like the last couple of days. I mean, like literally. I just booked a trip in the last 24 hours to come out there. Like it's just literally all coming together. And the fact that we're on here together talking about it and tasting the bourbons,
it's
couldn't
awesome.
be any better timing.
Surrounded by some K-Luke Love right now. It sounds like a radio station. The K-Luke.
Yeah, we got the Tupelo runner out there with Bring the Gamut. He's like,
I told Josh we may bring some fun things for you guys to try. Like let me go grab this bottle.
And we got who else is out there? That's been
now, while Jonathan is looking for his bottle over here, we've only got 20 entries for all these samples that we're going to give away. We've got 33 people watching. I guess that means that 13 people don't want any free samples. I don't know. Some of the best whiskey I've ever had has been free whiskey. We're trying to give away free whiskey. So
I told Josh we might bring something fun like this out there. Like this is I don't know if you can see that's almost a 13.5-year-old rye single barrel. Oh. So this is called for the boys over at 21090 for Todd and Andy. We just bought 2 of these, one for Mississippi and one for those guys. So we've got some fun stuff taste people on. Okay. So
you've got Ernest probably salivating right now.
I know that's
you said rye 13-year.
13 years, 5 months. Third barrel came in 132.4 proof. The Mississippi one is about 129. It tastes like candy Dr. Pepper syrup. I won't tell you what theirs tastes like. I'll let them talk about it when they launch it. But
21090, they'd come on our show. They were on here again. Hello again, whiskey friends. We got to say that. And knowing, tonight it worked out perfectly. We really appreciate you guys, having that announcement tonight because that makes us excited, gets the bourbon community in Memphis a little excited. And
you know what really makes me excited, Roger?
What?
I guarantee you, Jonathan doesn't know this, but right next to Buster's Highland, what is the name of your meat market there, Josh?
Buster's Butcher. And it's,
Buster's Butcher.
You have a butcher shop too?
And I know Jonathan likes steaks, and I know I like steaks, and I know Roger likes steaks.
We might figure out how to do it a little.
Just saying.
Yeah,
Steaks and whiskey go good together.
It's
I mean, then we have to light a cigar. We can just make a whole evening of it.
Yeah, no, and it's a full blown butcher shop, man.
Oh.
You can get in there and get cut steaks.
Yeah, they take up a block. They take up a block.
You know,
when they had their open house and they were serving things out on the street and things like that, it was just amazing.
Yeah,
Me
man,
and
figure out
Fred
how
was
to bring
like
them
fat
home.
and happy.
Crazy good.
no,
Josh,
these
you
butchers do a great
have
job.
any last questions for Jonathan before he has to go tuck his children in bed or
Well,
his
I
son
think
in bed?
I think he kind of touched on everything, but just kind of curious. I mean, you talked about upcoming releases. I mean, are there any new projects or goals, or just what can fans expect to see with K-Luke in the next year?
Yes, like I said, I mean, right now, so kind of going over like the core products when we bottle. So we bottle every 4 months, so 3 times a year. We do the 100 proof and barrel strength. Those are our core two. Like I said, Kelvin Toasted is going out to distributors right now. We'll start appearing at retailers. I mean, any day. Some have already received it. Some are probably starting to put it out. Then like the next really exciting thing, like I said, these single barrel ryes, which you can see is a new label for us, the metallic green. Really excited about that. You'll see a couple of those popping up. And then we got some other fun things we'll roll out as time goes on. We'll do some of the blue label single barrels. Let's see. This is so like that was a Fred Minnick big game pick. So Fred Minnick was down at the Super Bowl in New Orleans year before last, and picked out a couple single barrels we did for a Louisiana exclusive. So we do some fun things like that. You'll see some of these popping up too at some key stores around the country. Some fun straight single barrels. Some of the groups, some of the guys have been big supporters. Who knows? Maybe we can do something with a store and a group, in the near future. So
Let's talk.
who knows, right?
That's right. There we go. Let's talk over.
And if we get
over a damn steak.
What's that?
I said, let's talk over some whiskey and steak.
That sounds good to me.
And you know what? If we get something done, you know where it's going to get announced, right here with the Bourbon Legends.
There you go. That may be a future announcement. Maybe.
Yeah, we should have had the breaking news thing come up tonight.
We're going to mention some news stories. We're going to let Jonathan hop off there unless he just wants to stay around and listen. But
you can hang on if you want. Please do.
I want to wrap this up, okay? And I want to do a lightning round between you and I. So say bye to Josh. Bye, Josh. Say bye to Roger. Oh, hold on.
Nope.
Say bye to Roger.
Roger's still there.
I gotta get rid of these guys. So we've had fun tonight, but now let's have some real fun. I'm gonna ask you 5 lightning round questions, okay?
All right.
It's not about K-Luke, it's about you, about Jonathan. Okay? They're pretty easy questions. Number 1. When you have bourbon, do you want it neat? Or do you want it with a few drops of water, or maybe with a glass of ice, a cup of ice, or an ice cube? What is your preference?
For me, what am I in the mood for? I mean, I drink I drink a lot of neat bourbon, but I also love cocktails, classics, Bouvardiers, paper planes. I look at it like food or wine. What am I in the mood for? There's no wrong way to drink it. If I'm sitting outside on my grill, and it's getting pretty hot here in Mississippi now. I'm going to sit and have, a double 100 proof or a big cube ice. What am I in the mood for? How about yourself?
I'm kind of like you, but usually I usually drink most of mine neat.
Yep.
Personally.
Yeah,
all right. Number 2, your favorite bourbon under $50.
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, I think Green River's got some great stuff. I've been really impressed with some of their products out there. I'm
not limiting you to just one. Yeah. I
mean, 4 is a small batch, another great product, for the price point. Yes. I think they're a little over that now, but I really like what the guys from Pursuit United are doing. Really, really enjoy their products. That's probably pushing the $50 range, but that's been another one I've really enjoyed, kind of on the newer end of things.
All right, sounds good to me. Favorite non-bourbon spirit or non-whiskey spirit, which I think you've answered that quite a few times tonight.
Well, I think wine would be my favorite if it doesn't matter what the next category is. I'm a huge wine fan. So
Vino. Well, I actually ride in a Mardi Gras group. You may have heard of it since you're so close to New Orleans. We roll every Sunday before Mardi Gras. You ever heard of Bacchus?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crew of Bacchus, Hell Bacchus, God of Wine.
Gotta love wine, right? Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take some credit on that one. Rick House floor top. Rick houses. In a Rick house, are you a top floor man, a middle floor man, or a bottom floor man?
Again, it would depend on, are you looking at Four Roses, right? Single story warehouse, or tier, or are you looking at somewhere like Heaven Hill where they're huge? I would say in general, middle, because again, I'm not crazy about super high proof. 115, 120 is my sweet spot. Hence you see where all K-Luke lands. I can tell you, like when I picked from Four Roses, it's typically third tier, because where to land proof wise, 115 plus or minus a few points. So I would say middle of Rick House, kind of keeping it close to barrel entry proof. If you're down low, you're losing proof, you're picking up water, but again, if you're going older whiskey, you might want some a little lower so you're not retention of alcohol to, rest of the profiles in there.
For you to drink, you're going to say middle of the road.
Mid tier, absolutely. Closer to barrel entry proof.
Gotcha. And one last question. I'm going to bring these two knuckleheads back on here. I'm sorry, one knucklehead. I forgot Will's off tonight, so one knucklehead, Roger. One bottle that not counting K-Luke, one bottle that every bourbon fan should have on their shelf.
Oh, that's a tough question. Being a big Four Roses Wild Turkey fan, I mean, gosh, if I had to pick one, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with a great Four Roses single barrel store pick, or maybe something like Rare Breed, for an everyday kind of item.
Yeah,
I think those are kind of quintessential core examples of bourbon.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'll take a Rare Breed every. Hey, I want to just tell you, Jonathan, about my little experiment I've got going on. Toasted turkey. Okay, this is my second batch that I'm working on, and it's a 101 classic Wild Turkey 101 blended with Rare Breed up to 107. This round is probably going to be a little hotter than that, but I put it in a brand new toasted barrel, non-charred toasted barrel. So some of our fans out there that's had the first version, second version is getting close.
Nice.
So anyway, I don't think you can go wrong with anything that has the name Russell on the back end of it.
You're talking about all this talk about the cheesy gold foil. I mean, I'm looking at an original one I've got here on my shelf that I drink, and I've got an old Japanese 12-year split label. I mean, my most prized bottle, which we didn't talk about tonight, but if you've heard some other podcasts, I have a 1979 Wild Turkey that my dad gave me when I turned 21. It's called the Captain's Decanter. It's a Baccarat crystal bottle in a wooden chest, and I brought that to Kentucky in 2014. I went and got Jimmy and Eddie to sign it. That's my most prized possession, even more now that my dad passed away a year ago. And one more quick story for you guys, because you guys will really appreciate this and talk about how amazing Jimmy and Eddie is. So my old bottle, again, growing up, my mom hated all the stuff. It was a plant stand. It was all sorts of stuff. And when my dad bought that bottle back in 79, my grandfather was all upset because my dad said he spent about $125 for this bottle of Wild Turkey. And he told his dad, he said, well, eventually when I have a son, my plan is to give it to him when he turns 21. So that was always his plan with this bottle. And when I turned 21, we cracked open, we had a pour. When I met Jimmy Russell and Eddie the first time at Wild Turkey in 2014, he looked at it and he said, well, son, your stopper's broken, because I brought it to get him to sign it. And I wanted to have a pour with him. And they said, no, you save it. We've had plenty. And Jimmy said, if you don't mind, I'm going to run home. I think I saw one of those old stoppers to that bottle in a desk drawer at home. I'm going to go look for you. And he got in his truck and drove home to go look. I just couldn't believe it. And I'm like,
no,
a small retailer in South Mississippi.
That is so classic Jimmy Russell. I mean, we are huge Jimmy Russell fans. I can't tell you how many times we've been to Frankfurt, and the most magical time was last October. We went through, and we're just like, well, man, we sure hope Jimmy's going to be there today. And as we were pulling into the driveway there, there's Mr. Jimmy getting out of the minivan. I believe it was a minivan. No, it was a Lexus this time.
It was a Lexus. He upgraded
with his little scooter there, and we like rolled down the window, Jimmy, hey Jimmy. But the Godfather of bourbon. And we've talked about this so many times on our show, but we really made an effort to not only talk to Jimmy, but to his wife, and had her autograph our bottles. That we had a bottle that we gave away here on the show, and they're just such down to earth, genuinely salt of the earth kind of people. I have never heard anybody say a bad word. I've never heard a bad story. We've all got stories of Jimmy, and God, I'd love to have Jimmy on the show. I know that's a pipe dream, but man, wouldn't that be something to have Jimmy?
What is he? To talk about her stuff.
I think Jimmy's like 91 now. Jaretta's like 93. God, I mean, just.
And all three generations are just the same. Jimmy, Eddie, Bruce. I mean, all of them are just. I mean, the coolest seminar I've ever been to years ago in New Orleans at the Bourbon Fest. One of the first ones, we had Eddie Russell and Fred No, and they were drinking each other's product, talking about growing up with each other. Basically when Booker passed away, how Jimmy became Fred's road dad, and just to hear the stories of those two guys and the families and how intertwined they are. You're like, until you really have no idea. And if you get to meet like Bill Samuels and hear his stories growing up, and all the bourbon guys coming to his house for dinner with his dad, and just trying to figure out how do we make this, a profitable business instead of just in the backyard drinking all the time, and make bourbon become the native spirit of America, and represent the whole country around the world. I mean, it's really, when you think about it, it's really only been about 100 years. I mean, to think of where we've come. When you think of someone like Italians, the same families making the same wine or grappa or whatever the same way for 10 generations. And what we've done here in the U.S. such a short time with bourbon it's really something special.
Yeah, there's something special about that, and the community. I mean, we always have to go back to the community. Meet so many nice people, so many generous people. Just even on this show, it is something special that we can go to Bardstown, pick up the phone, and call one of our old guests that were on the show and say, "Hey, you want to go out to eat at the Talbot?" And yeah, I'll meet you at noon. And we're nobodies. We're nobodies in this business, and it's just wonderful. Hey, can we give away a bottle? I mean, not a bottle. Can we give away those samples?
Right, Jonathan?
Oh, hold on, Josh. Hold on, Josh. You're not gonna. Yeah, I know. Conflict of interest. Okay, let's do it. Is it on? Can we see it? Okay, I'm gonna spin it.
It's out there.
This is for somebody here. One of our lucky guests are going to come away.
Since Will's not here, I'm going to help out.
There you go. Who is going to come home with some samples?
Oh, Martin, last time.
Michael Bortner.
Mike Bortner. All right. We know Mike.
Congratulations.
Mike is a good guy who I believe he made a comment earlier about how many bottles he already has. So maybe we're not going to send them to Mike. Nah, we will.
We will.
I'll tell you what. If he's already a fan, Craig, I'll throw in a couple old single barrel samples from like the Fred Minnick pick and a couple of other ones. I'll send to you to send to him then. Give him some.
Yeah, that'll work. Mike's a great guy. He's a police officer.
He's an officer of the law. He keeps people on the straight and narrow, and
makes me even more appreciative of what he's doing. Then
he's just an all around good guy. And please, don't ever rewind that, Mike, and listen to what I just said. That you're a good guy.
Yeah, because we don't want to get a big head. We got to keep in line.
Jonathan, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show and actually get to sit down and spend about an hour shooting the crap with you. And how did your son's ball game ever go? I know he got into the final tournament or whatever.
So we ended up coming in second place today, which guarantees him a spot in the World Series now. So he's amped up about it. He's super excited. They just got home from practice. I don't know. I guess by sometime during this podcast, I heard him come in. Cool. We'll probably get some meat afterwards.
Now, when you say the World Series, you're talking about the Little League World Series?
So in Mississippi anyway. So it's going to be a couple hours north from us, but they're super excited. They got a great team, and it's been a lot of fun. One of the kids lives right behind us, our back fence, and to watch these kids get together and play. And I went out last night to Caitlin's softball practice. It's just a lot of fun to go out and watch them, and really makes all the hard work and 14, 15-hour days and all those years of lugging cases worthwhile to to get to see the kids and spend more time with them, watch and enjoy what they love.
Well, the thing is nowadays, and you'll find this out if you don't already know, having teenagers and preteens, to get them off of this dadgum little thing right here. When we were kids, we all went and played baseball out in the sand lot and didn't come home until it got dark at night and things like that. Now all they do is want to sit in the air conditioner and play on their phones or whatever. It's nice to see kids get out and actually have a hobby other than playing video games.
I mean, Lucas would stay outside all day, every day, now don't get me wrong, he doesn't mind getting on some electronics on occasion, Keaton's a little bit more of a struggle, but Lucas is very, outgoing, out in front of people, and it's just been a lot of fun to watch both of them, and Keaton kind of played some softball early on, was a little bit scared of it. Now she's really gotten, really enjoys that, but she's really gotten into volleyball. Like she just made the 8th grade team for next year. They actually started practicing last week, so she's put a lot of hard work in the last year for volleyball, and it's really enjoying it. So
I just installed a volleyball net in the backyard right before I came here. So $60 on Amazon. It was pretty impressive. It didn't take me about 15 minutes to put up for. And then my kids were out there playing. I was like, oh my God, just speaking your language, Craig. I was like, oh my God, look at them. They're having so much fun.
Yeah, get them outside.
Absolutely.
My problem is my youngest is 20 and he wants to lay in the air conditioner and play on the games all day. And I'm like, dude, you need to be out working. So, it's the way it goes.
He'll get there, Colonel.
Yeah, he'll get there. Well, Jonathan, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you again in person, kind of, sort of, but I'm pretty sure I'll see you next month.
We are looking forward to next month. I can tell you there's a whole bunch of people that as soon as we announce this, Josh and Jonathan.
I've already seen it in the comments, Roger. I've already seen it.
Oh yeah, they're excited. So
well, Craig, Roger, first of all, I can't thank you guys enough for all the support, for enjoying what we do, for helping spread the word, for all you guys following the podcast tonight. Go back watching this live. You guys enjoying what we do means the world to us. Like I said, the brand is only owned by my wife and I. There's no outside investors or money, so we put a lot of hard work, a lot of time and love into creating these blends. If you don't follow us already, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Sign up for our newsletters. Make sure you guys that are in the Memphis area are following Josh there at Buster's. We are actively working on this, like right now, the last 6 hours on putting this thing together. So we're working on getting this finalized in the next couple of days. But we are super excited for me to come up and meet him and get together with a bunch of you guys, drink some whiskey, have some bottles for you, and work on the next chapter of what's to come. So
yeah, absolutely. Also, we got a Texas Arcana guy says he's coming to Memphis. So yeah, we need to figure something out quick and announce it there.
We are. Another gentleman I've been looking forward to meeting. He's become a big K-Luke fan, and the last couple months we've talked online quite a bit. So absolutely looking forward to meeting him there, and just getting a chance to come meet you, Josh. And like I said, timing couldn't have been any better. We're just now rolling out a limited amount of product coming to Memphis for the first time. So getting to be up there at Buster's and have the official launch of K-Luke in Memphis, and it's going to be really exciting. Looking forward to meeting everybody.
Is that toaster number 5 going to make it to Memphis, or am I going to have to hunt it somewhere else?
Nah, that one, unfortunately, we had already rolled it out before getting into the Memphis thing. It takes a little time to get everything planned out logistically in all the states.
Hey, I understand. I'm going to hunt it. I'm going to hunt it no matter where it is. If it's in Mississippi, I'm hunting it. If it's in Louisiana, I'm hunting it. Okay.
You'll see in our other markets for sure. And then, like I said, Josh will get a chance now moving forward to buy everything that we do. And limited releases, the Kelvin Toast Rye in September when it comes out. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something just for Busters. Who knows? You never know what the future's going to bring, right?
That's right. Nope. You never know.
That's what we're trying to. Hold on. I'll try to cross our fingers. I don't want to shoot.
I got them crossed.
Or anything.
I'm there.
Just talking with Josh today, we're very aligned on making sure the customers have a great experience and something special. So certainly looking forward to getting a chance to be up there and be in his store and be something you and your staff can be proud to recommend to your customers. So very excited about it.
No doubt. Listen, this has all come together so nicely for me to meet you. And the same day I had a first conversation with you on the phone, and then had 6 bottles of some, I'm going to call it the K-Love because I love it. And that's our K-Love, radio station, but it's the K-Luke to me. It's delicious.
Shout out to Ernest again. Ernest is amazing.
Ernest is a great guy.
Just remember me, Josh. Just remember me.
I got you.
Hold on, you're graphic artist.
Craig.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Jonathan, we'll see you next month.
Thank
man.
you, Jonathan.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Look forward to seeing you live and join supporters. Josh, I'll be in touch the next day or two. We'll get this thing all ironed out. We'll let's get this whiskey event on the calendar.
Let's get it done. Yeah.
All right,
man. Appreciate it,
guys.
Have a good night.
Have a great
What an awesome
boy!
guy.
I got to tell you what. Here. We don't need to be like the Fonz and jump the Shark Tank or whatever, because we got something else that we need to talk about, right? Right.
Yeah. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
We've got several things down in lined up in the pipe there, but this is one of them that we need to talk about that's going on right now as we speak.
That's it. So you want to announce, or do you want me to announce?
I mean, go ahead. I mean, we're collaborating again.
Yeah.
This is our collab number 2.
Well, this one, this is collab number 2. This is the bottle. This is James E. Pepper special decanter bottle that we have selected with Roger, Craig, and we also had Daniel on this particular taste.
My wife was on there as well. You
That's
were
right.
on there, and Will was on there as well, and unanimously picked as our number one barrel.
So so this was fascinating. We got 6 selections overall, 3 that were aged 5 year. And then we had another of higher age that were 6.5 on 2 of them and 7 on another. And, we decided to kind of go through, pick out what we thought was the best in each little set. And then we would put those 2 up together. And so what we decided was this just stood out. And, hands down, what was neat is having, everybody agree that like this is the bottle. So it shined, and certainly want to hear your thoughts on it. But it was neat because we did that a virtual tasting, and we did it together. Everybody's in their own homes, and so it was awesome, fun experience.
The thing is, I've never had a bad James E. Pepper. So when the opportunity came to us, what would you like? We want to do a collab. What would you like? And I saw the pepper, and I'm like, dude, pepper. Now, something that kind of took the wind out of my sails was a local Arkansas group just released a pepper, sold out in one day.
Wow.
So, and theirs was just a little bit hotter, but I think theirs came in at 108 or close to 109. But theirs was also a unanimous decision. So that just goes to show you that James E. Pepper is putting out some really good single barrels, or, picks, if you will. We actually, Roger, myself, and Will picked up one that was at the distillery, a distillery pick back in April. So, I mean, I didn't really have anything negative about this bottle at all. Price point is good. It's a beautiful bottle. I mean, even this is a bottle that when you get through drinking, you're not going to throw that bottle away. You're going to keep that bottle.
The key with it is that a lot of people don't understand. This is the first time they've offered single barrels to the general public and to make them as store picks. So we're able to pick up a single barrel. We had 6 options, and all of them were amazing. Were great. But this one, just like we all said, it's perfect. And I think it was funny that it was 107.8 proof, which is kind of our sweet spot that we've all talked about, that 107 proof bourbon.
I honestly thought when we saw the 3 of the 5 years, 2 of them were 6.5 years, and then there was a 7.2 year. And it kind of goes back to what Jonathan was saying. Sometimes people get too stuck on the age statements, because I'm going to tell you, when we put this one up, a 5 year, it's actually, Josh, I think it's like 5.5, like 5.5, somewhere in that area.
Something like that, yeah.
And we put that up next to the 7 year, 2 months, and there really wasn't much of a fight
Yeah.
You know, which one shined, and this one definitely shined. Not that the 7-year 2-month was overly oaky. It just
it wasn't oaky. It was a little awkward. I don't know why. For me, it was awkward. Remember, I don't think the rest.
Yeah. Well, I think we all kind of, there was just something that just wasn't hitting for everybody on that one compared to this one. This one just really, the first nose kind of sealed the deal on it. When you smelled it, it was like, wow. And this thing kind of takes it. If you go to our Discord, you can see we kind of announced it a day early, and it kind of takes you on a journey. The longer it sits in the Glen, the more you taste it, you pick up more notes. We had caramel, vanilla, pretty strong vanilla. I mean, caramel, sorry, oak. But then there was this herbal tea, this kind of maybe a chamomile or a green tea, just kind of faint. And it just kind of wafts in there with the caramel. Then you pick up a little berry, little fruit. And best of all, we're not going to tell you the price here, because let's just say this. If you are a bourbon legend and you have access to our Discord or our Facebook account, you will get a better price than if you're not. I'll just say that. So.
Yeah, and so you can, and I'll let you go over those details. I mean, I don't have any problem discussing the price if you don't, Craig.
If you want to, well, that's fine. I'll put it up there. If you're a bourbon legend, what is it? 66 out the door.
Out the door. It's gonna be not $59.99 retail price, not the $60 you'd expect to pay, but that's before the tax gets added.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we still have tax in both states, all states.
Yeah,
so we got to pay tax.
But what's going to be the shelf price if you're a non-bourbon legend?
Well, it's going to be at least $10 higher. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay.
And, so
it's easier. It's easier to go through us, become a bourbon legend, and we're gonna put you on the spot right now, because we have talked a little bit about it. I think Jonathan has stole the show tonight with K. Luke coming to Memphis, but we're gonna try to do a distillery, not a distillery takeover, but maybe a showroom takeover with a bunch of bourbon legends on the day that we can actually pick it up, which we're looking at somewhere around the end of July, 1st of August on this. Hopefully.
Probably. Yeah. We've got, I think that might be a little early. Well, no, you're probably about right.
Well, he said 45 days once you turned in the label. So
yeah, so we got our nice little label turned in, and we moved on that quickly. And this was kind of neat too, just as Jonathan and K. Luke, just to kind of just happened for us. What was neat when we discussed a barrel for collaboration 2, Craig, you're like, what options do we have? And, I'd given you several, I think maybe 4, maybe 5.
Five, I believe, 5.
And then you picked James E. Pepper. You were like, hey, let's do James E. Pepper. And I'm like, this is awesome. The guy was in my office yesterday, and I never heard of him. And I had not heard of James E. Pepper. I mean, listen, while I've been in this business a long time, I mean, there's a lot of this world that I'm still discovering. And clearly, between the bourbon clubs and enthusiasts, it's so neat to get those perspectives. But and then just have it all come together. So that's kind of how this thing happened, and very serendipitous. And it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's a great pick. Great price, and it's just going to be neat to see how it comes together.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Hold on one second. I'm not on the limb yet. I'm going to go on the limb, and I'm going to say, since that pick in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, sold out in a day, and you can go to I'm sorry, I put a comment there, but www.thebourbonlegends.com, you can get info of how to get on our Discord. And thanks, Ernest. Thank you. I think we may see some Arkansans making the drive over as well for this. because you know how it goes. Once it's gone, and theirs is gone and ours is not.
That's it.
And
well, I
so,
think you're going to take, I'm happy to take orders, or if you want to email me, but Craig, I think for your group, if you just want them to email you, just so that we can coordinate and make sure I get the bottles reserved and put on the side.
Well, I will tell you right now, Josh, as of this airing, I believe we were up to about 42 bottles, I believe, that are already spoken for. So
I'm talking about, thank you. We appreciate it.
So after tonight, hopefully that'll double, and it doesn't cost you 1 red cent to say I'm in on this, and we can discuss all the other things off the air. There, Mike Brock just dropped the Discord. If you copy and paste that, you can get to our Discord page where it is up. Like I said, also, you can go to the Bourbon Legends Facebook page, and there is an end section there. Now, there's something else that we might have up our sleeves other than the fact that K. Luke's coming. Or we're not ready to announce that, but are we ready to announce that you make the call there, Josh?
We're talking about a next guest.
Yeah.
Well, Amir Pay. I mean, we're talking about getting him on the Bourbon Legends. So, hopefully we'll line that up with the release, and who knows, maybe we're all sitting here tasting this thing together and getting his perspective, since he didn't pick it, but obviously it's his juice. But yeah, they're trying to get him on the show here, which he's agreeable to. And I think y'all are communicating, right, Craig?
Yeah, well, we're trying. I haven't heard anything from him, but that's not, that happens a lot. And this is what happens a lot on our end of the business. Yeah. I don't move as fast as you and Jonathan do sometimes. I move fast. I move fast. Not everybody else moves fast.
Well, Amir,
Josh and I have had so many emails back and forth in the last, 3 days that I can't keep track of which one is which. I have to hunt and peck and scroll.
Yeah.
So from now on, we're going to start doing like separate titles, separate subjects, so we can keep it.
Well, we might just need to figure out how to chat or something like that.
That might be easier.
Speaking of chatting, I'd love to be chatting on here on the comments, but I'm not allowed to being in the studio. So I got to figure that out.
It's not on your end. It's on our end, because only Roger and I can actually
chat,
respond. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right.
Will does it as
one of our privileges here, I guess.
Fair enough.
We'll work on it. We're working on it, Josh. You come back,
Josh,
and we're going to make sure you get full access.
Are we at liberty to say that we are pretty close to actually collaborating on another bourbon?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's in the works. I mean,
maybe two now.
Funny, I know, maybe 2 more. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's the fun of what we're trying to get done and accomplished here. Is this collaboration is great for you guys. It's good for us. And there's a lot of stuff out there to explore, and it's so fun to meet someone like Jonathan, and and then what Amir's doing, and he came down, and and I think there's a few more things that we can get going too. So it's fun to see where I think this partnership, this collaboration is going for us. But
but honestly, first, there's some bottles that you need to get rid of to make room for these new collabs, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, I've always got bottles to get rid of. I mean, it's kind of like,
he runs a liquor store.
I can always.
That's true.
As we say, we can only sell it once, and I want to sell it today, not tomorrow, not the next week, today. Anyhow, but we've got some fun. Really, the bottles I'm thinking about moving right now that we're going to discuss are, what is everybody drinking for the 4th of July? This is a big holiday.
250th anniversary
of the red, white, and blue.
That's what I'm going to be drinking. Like I said, off camera tonight, we have a huge fireworks show that is all on my shoulders right here. So I'm probably not going to get to drink maybe I'll have a sip or two, but you know, I've got to be responsible. But let's talk about them, okay? Can I pull up that beautiful bean footage?
So, you know, we've got these fun red, white, and blue bottles, bourbons, whiskeys to celebrate your 250th anniversary. I mean, it's a big deal. I know everybody's making some great plans. We're taking a family trip, going out to Jackson Hole. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. But you've got things like, you know, that peg leg porker, 250th. I don't even know what the price is on it right now. We did not get many bottles. If that's something that interests you, you probably need to reach out to me directly. The Declaration Wheat Whiskey by Whistle Pig, beautiful packaging, color. I mean, I don't know much about it, admittedly, but it's Whistle Pig. I think a lot of folks take it or they leave it. I'm a fan of Whistle Pig. I've really come on board with it. But you know, they have some very pricey stuff. They have some very affordable stuff. This is affordable. 1776. Wow, what a year, right? Well, what you don't see is that those bottles are also James E. Pepper. So it used to have James E. Pepper on the top. They decided to remove it, or I'm not sure if it's even on the back label. I don't have a bottle in front of me. Oh, wait a second, I do. But at any rate, those are his, and there's a great backstory to it. As a matter of fact, if you're familiar with the Born with the Republic snake of the first colonies or states into the Union, I think that's what that story is about. It kind of graces the label very. You can barely see it on that brown bottle. And but he's doing some great things. And, you know, you need some, for guys like y'all in the Bourbon Club, these are some great everyday whiskeys to be had and a great way to celebrate the 250. Makers, we got some limited red, white, and blue wax bottles. You can see the blue seal, but there's also underneath I guess I covered it up with our Busters thing, but there's white wax on there as well. Jameson. I mean, you know, it's actually a red, white, and blue kind of. I'm forgetting what's that for. It's Irish whiskey. But you know what? It's funny. I got into this pick because it's red, white, and blue, celebrating the MLS that's going on right now. That's what that's for. The big soccer tournament going on, World Cup in America. So you know, it's worth jumping in the game. And then, of course, there on the end, that's our Old Glory pick. Number one collaboration bottle. So, I mean, in a way, what a great way to start with, you know, when you think about capitalism, right? And America and bourbon and whiskey. And here we are putting it in one special bottle, the Old Glory collaboration pick for Busters and for the Bourbon Legends. When those bottles are gone, they're gone. So,
yep. And they will never see the light again. And you know, that was the thing about that pick. I get to have fun with making tater stickers and tasting notes and whatnot and coming up with things. And that one was called the Volunteer.
Nice.
And not only do you live in the Volunteer state, but the Volunteer state, if you did not know this, came about because during, I believe it was World War I, there was a campaign to try to get soldiers, and Tennessee had the most men volunteer to fight for our country. Now, in football, I don't give really much of a crap about the Volunteers, being an Arkansas fan. And I know it's tough to be an Arkansas fan. But as far as the whiskey goes, that one stood out as a volunteer to my palate. Our palate when we picked it. And you know how many bottles you have left of that, Josh? Do you have
I think we got in 16 6-packs, and I believe we've gone through 5 of them already, 5 or 6. So I got to check. There's still a good little supply, but
there's still plenty that people can come over there. I mean, Martin Cox, he lives just south of Memphis, and he says he'll take that one. We got a lot of good Tupelo Runner says that one's fire. Never had a bad comment on that bottle. So
yeah, no, listen, that bottle will not. I promise you that bottle will not last the end of this month before the 4th of July. I mean, like that is something I'm going to be selling hands down in your hand. That's my pick. So if you want it, you better come get it because Josh Hammond's going to sell it all between here and the 4th of July. Trust me when I say that.
Now, Josh, I didn't see on that flyer anywhere the this bottle here. Have you guys already went through this bottle? The Evan Williams? Have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen that one, or is it come and gone? Or?
No, I don't think it's coming. I mean, it's here. We have it. It's funny.
Okay.
I might have to go check on that again. Thank you.
You might not have any of it because
you may not have that one. You may have the other. You may have the other one. The what's the other one, Roger? 1783 Heroes Edition.
Yeah, the Heroes Edition, which was a really good bottle, and it was those are available every year, and they're picked out by veterans, and they do that for the 1783. But that Evan Williams single barrel is really taking wings the last few months because 250 is coming up and everything. Because they only did 250 single barrels of it. Okay. So there's very little of it available. Martin Cox will tell you. Oh,
Martin wants to know, and I know you know Martin. We all know and love Martin.
The barrel I have.
So tell Martin yes. Tell Martin yes for me. I can't. Well, I mean, I'm telling him yes. You don't have to type. Yes, Martin. Email me, Martin. I'll make sure I put a bottle aside for you tomorrow. I'm learning.
Oh, Lord. You're getting all you're gonna be busy tomorrow. I got a feeling talking to Jonathan all day.
Yeah.
What's your email address? What's your email address again, Josh?
Excuse me. Josh at bustersliquors.com. Just like the website, where people mostly get it wrong is there's an S on the end of Busters and an S on the end of Liquors.
Busters Liquors.
Yeah. .com.
You call it Busters because there's two stores? Makes it plural, huh?
Yeah.
Busters. Kind of like the Walmart stores. Well, where is it? It's over by the Walmarts.
We're a chain now. I didn't know we were a chain. I was like, it doesn't feel like a chain. I mean, but I guess we are.
Well, might to you feel like a ball and chain some days.
Yeah.
after listening to Jonathan talk about when he was in the retail business,
it's a challenge.
You know what is refreshing for me to hear, honestly, is somebody like Jonathan who wants to go out and actually meet people. Because in my end of the retail business that I'm in, the last thing I want to do is meet any more people. It's just like, if I could do our business without having to deal with the public, God, it would be so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, it's, this business isn't for everyone, no question about it. I mean, it's a people business. So many folks coming through your doors, and you've got employees and suppliers, and so much communication is required. And, it's a fun business to be in, though. I mean, the whiskey business, and while we're talking about challenges right now in this industry, most of your customers are coming in, happy, and they're about to have some more fun, and with some of the libations they're picking up. And I think the biggest thrill I get over all this is seeing that, that emotion when they take possession of the bottles, okay, and what overcomes them as they give me their money, okay. So, and you see that transition to ownership. There's nothing. It's like buying a new car. I mean, you're right. I mean, they get so much satisfaction out of that. But
I don't know. Usually when I buy a new car, I leave the parking lot and I'm like, God,
I wish I could afford a new car. How about that? But
if you sell some of these store picks, you can go out and buy you a new car.
No doubt. Well,
we just need to get people like Ernest to come over. Look, most people can't drink on the job. That is true.
That is true, Ernest.
That is true, Ernest.
That's it.
Let's think about this. We've got like 6 minutes until we're going to wrap up on this show. Let's name, if we can think, who could actually drink on the job and get away with it. So obviously, Roger, go ahead.
Bankers.
Bankers.
Yeah, well, you're going to get that client to finalize that agreement. You take him to dinner. you're going to get them drinking. You're going to pull out the best wine, the best bourbon, whatever they drink, and you're going to have them lit. So the next day they're going to sign that agreement.
See, what I thought you meant was you get through with a client and you're like, God, I need a drink.
Well, that happens sometimes too, but
I was actually thinking dancers.
The entertainment side, which
got
lost with the pandemic, but now it's coming back on strong.
I was thinking dancers like at the old Platinum Plus back in the day. They probably could have a drink.
They probably did.
I mean, who else could drink? Who else can drink on the job? I mean, master distillers,
bartenders,
waitresses. Our buddy Anthony Eckert, who is vice president of Central and Moon Distributing. I know he drinks on the job. That's one of his requirements. He sends me pictures all the time from Bardstown when he's rubbing shoulders with Freddie Johnson with a drink in his hand, or at Heaven Hill having a drink. I'm like, that's not work.
Jeez. People come to my office and they see, at Highland, I've got about 20 bottles on my desk, and they're like, wait a second, how do you do that? And
Donna, I'm sorry, Roger got rid of that. Donna, airline pilots, exactly. They can drink on the job. You know who else can drink on the job, Donna? Priests. Priests drink on the job. Yeah. They sure do.
Sacramental wine.
Yeah, they take the communion wine and they just drink right there.
I like Martin because I can agree with this. If you're retired, you're drinking on the job every day. I'm telling you, it's just how it goes.
What happened?
They turn the lights out on you.
They shut out the lights on him.
It's like, it's almost 10 o'clock. We're getting the hell out of here. Turn the lights off. The party's over. You know who else can drink on the job?
Who?
Michael Rodriguez.
He
says he's working remote. Working remote has its benefits. I bet there is a lot of people after COVID that do drink on their job now that they work from home.
Well,
Martin Cox says the nuns do also.
Well, consumption skyrocketed during COVID. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
It's a balancing act, a little bit back down.
Do you think as a store owner that it's just balanced back out because it was an overinflated boom?
No question. I think people spent a few years doing nothing but kind of, they were having fun, relaxing probably. I mean, when I say relaxing, they were at home. Maybe anxiety ridden with COVID and, living in the environment we were living. But yeah, consumption went up. I mean, you don't have to get up and go to work and, can call, do Zooms and things like that. Consumption definitely went up. And so I think people looked at that after those few years, like, let's get my act back together. Let's, get back in shape. The health kick is on, the health craze is on. Things like that are affecting.
THC drinks are taking over. RTUs are taking over.
RTDs.
Did I say RTUs? UTIs.
You said RTUs.
RTDs.
RTDs. Ready to drink cocktails.
Yeah, like Buzzball is more coming. Is Buzzball one of the big ones?
The what?
Is Buzzball one of the bigger ones, or
no question? Yeah, no doubt about it. The THC thing is, that's in Tennessee. That's about to change dramatically. July 1st, THC beverages will only be sold in liquor stores and vape shops, and restaurants and bars are able to sell a 5 milligram as a serving. So, that's going to change. And then, we still have this looming federal ban coming in November. Do y'all know about that? These THC
Not heard of this. No.
So if you're not from, the government last year they banned them outright. Just put a ban on them, saying starting this year in November, you can't sell them, at least not interstate shipment wise. So if the ban holds in place, here's what's going to happen. What's that? What are we doing?
Martin, was it bake shops?
Bake shops. That's awesome.
Do you think Martin may have had one too many during the blending sessions?
Yeah, he might have.
Yeah. Well,
so you're saying overall general, like, because here in Arkansas, I've got a few friends. It's like well, yeah, where did you get that Willie's weed or whatever, Willie's remedy? And it's like, I just bought it off the internet.
Yeah.
Really? So you're saying that is going away, huh?
Well, there's a ban, but I think what the federal ban was all about was to kind of put it in high gear for the states to figure out some regulations because, and to come up with an agreeable framework, because right now it really kind of is the wild, wild west. You got to remember it is an intoxicant, so, just having it widespread without any rules in there and anybody can sell it means it's going to get into the wrong hands. There's going to be unscrupulous sellers that, don't have any responsibility to who they're selling it to. So Tennessee's kind of a pioneer with the laws on THC beverages. We'll see where this goes, but that's what we think's going on. I think the federal government's going to come in and either extend it another year. Seems the most likely at this point. But they need to kind of do it sooner than later. I doubt it would be 11th hour. There's too much money in it right now. The cat's out of the bag. And the other thing, it'll push it underground, which is not where it needs to be. And it'll kill a lot of investment in a category that's really growing. But the thing about it is, it's interesting, is the states that have flower, that sell smoke roll flower, they're the ones also voting against it. The federal level.
Yeah.
They don't want to eat. It's like, I want my cake and eat it too. No, you guys can't have that. So
that sounds like, I live in a dry county and it's really dry because the liquor store that's right on the county line doesn't want it to go wet. Of course. Yeah. Hey, I love what Whiskey Twins, number one, that's a great name, Whiskey Twins. But I'm working at a gentleman's club right now while watching the stream. I want to just know how that works. You're like going down the pole and you got like your phone in your one hand and you're,
I bet you he's a DJ.
Oh, hold on. Whiskey Twins. When I heard the word Whiskey Twins, my mind just automatically went to our new show that we're going to come out with here. I've seen a lot of people, they have different names of their shows, like a hobby, like maybe games and bourbon or, I told Roger I'm coming out with a show that's going to put two of my interests together, boobs and bourbon. It's going to be called Bourbon and Boobs. So let's see.
I'm interested in keeping that going.
Hold on. Now we get the real story. Ernest says that's his brother and he's doing security.
Oh.
Ernest, I really liked where I was going with this story a lot better than the truth.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you've ever seen Ernest's brother, you're not messing with that boy.
Yeah, I believe his name is Robert, Roger.
I
and
know.
Robert is not one that you want to mess with.
No, he will make sure you understand.
But you know what? He's just really a big pussycat when it comes down to it. I've met him way too many times.
Yeah.
Josh is still drinking. Here it is, 10:02 Central Time, and he's still pouring samples.
Well, I got something I want to kind of share. Does anybody know what do you think this is?
Hold on. Number one, I can't even see it. My screen is so small. Cask Finish Series. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell from the back label.
Yeah.
I can tell you if I see the front label. Blue Note. Okay.
This is their new batch 3. And, they came out with batch 1, very limited. 2 kind of made it around. It was rather expensive. It got up to $225, maybe $250. But let me say this, it's freaking delicious. It's delicious.
Really?
Worth every penny. There's a few bottles left that we have, and the price has come down to $150 on the batch 2 that are remaining, because the batch 3 has come out and it is now $150. And I just got to taste this today, folks. They hit it again. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. So we've got a limited amount of this, and I've got a bottle open at Highland. So, maybe we'll get to taste that for anybody that's interested. I'll keep it hidden and let only the folks here ask for it. Okay.
You get to announce a bourbon legend, and you'll get a taste of that.
You'll get a taste of the Blue Note Cask Finish Series number 3. A big fan of Blue Note, so glad to.
Yeah, we had I can't think of his name. Somebody help me out here. Logan.
Last week's guest.
Logan Welk was on back in May from Blue Note. He was on as a show guest. Good guy, from somebody that doesn't really have a distillery background, more of a business background. He really knew what he was talking about. One of the better guests.
Nice. Super
nice. Just like tonight. Jonathan was one of our better guests. And hey, you know what, Josh? You held your own pretty damn good.
Yeah, you're a good coach.
If I was Chill Will, I might be a little bit worried of where my job is standing.
Well, thanks for having me tonight.
No, absolutely. Thanks for joining in. We were going to have Josh. I'll just tell you, we're pretty transparent. We were going to have Josh on as doing a little segment, maybe 10 minutes. And then what do you know?
10 minutes.
We don't have a guest tonight. So I'm like, hey, Josh, you want to be like a main guest, like the all-time, all-night guest? And he's like, sure, I'll do that.
Sure.
Very next day, Jonathan Maisano sends me a text message, and he's like, hey, I can do the 11th. And I'm like, come on. Just so happened Will has to pick up his daughter and go eat at the Waffle House tonight. It all worked out. We got a new co-host in the show. And not only that, but I think we're going to have some K-Luke in Memphis at Buster's.
Yeah, you're going to have to send me a list of these comments because I've got to follow up with some of these people. There's Donna Bennett saying she's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, she'll be by tomorrow, pick up some stuff.
So thank you. And I haven't been able to sit here and read these and talk at the same time.
Now you know where I come from. I'm like too busy trying to run this board, look at a comment, try to put up a video, try to put an overlay on. Yeah, I never hardly get to read the comments. It's a lot easier to not be a host and just be like in the show talking to people. Like I saw tonight, Randy from Stillworks and Brewing was on. I didn't even have a chance to say, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. I'm Randy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of
Randy. Well, the folks from 21090 were on, and it's another Bourbon Tube show. And they did a barrel pick with Josh, and with Jonathan, and love it. And the person that really turned me on, I'll be honest, I'm going to throw it out there, that turned me on to K-Luke was Dusty Dan. Dan would come on and talk about it and then do reviews of it. And his reviews are if you ever get a chance, Dusty Dan whiskey reviews out there on YouTube. He has some amazing reviews of some of the K-Luke stuff. And he talks you through the bottle, talks you through the flavors that you taste, everything like that. And he does it in a much more pronounced way than I'm able to do. And I really enjoyed that because he turned me on to it. So, but
I gotta love Ernest's comments.
Yeah.
Multitasking for Josh is golf clubs and cocktails.
Yeah, no, it's water skiing, Ernest. I hadn't swung a club, but maybe twice this whole year. But I've gotten a couple runs in water skiing. I went last night. I was in the inlet of Mud Island Harbor skiing last night at 5:30.
You ski on the Mississippi? Is that a thing?
It is the Mississippi River, but it's the harbor. Know where Mud Island is?
Yeah.
There's a harbor there, and up that harbor, back behind Harbor Town, there's a nice little track of water there that you can jump on and ski, and it's just convenient. And so
nice, clear blue water. I'm assuming, right?
We're just some river rats. We get down there and do some slalom skiing, and it's a lot of fun. Still getting after it.
Cool. So, now don't go out and get hurt now, because Daniel's having a bottle share coming up and he's expecting you to be there.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I'm looking to make an appearance at least. I know it's I got to get up there and back is the thing.
Yeah. Well,
if you guys are on Discord or anything, or check it out, Daniel Bees is having a bottle share in Memphis. We'll get some people there. And
speaking of that, Roger, we're having a bottle share here in Arkansas too. On July 18th. On July 18th, I should have a banner. Some sort of media. I don't know. I may have took it down here, but yeah, we're having a bottle share. Get on our Discord or our Facebook page, like I say, and you're invited to the bottle share. It doesn't cost you 1 red cent other than bringing a bottle to share. That's why they call it a bottle share. And we're going to be having barbecue. Might not be as good as Memphis barbecue, but it'll be actually made from me. So if it tastes bad, I'll blame it on my wife's cooking. And if it tastes good, I'll take all the credit for it. Gentlemen, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap this mother up?
I want to thank everybody for joining. And before you leave, go out there and hit that like button, because with the way YouTube's going right now, we need as many like buttons and subscribers as we can, because they're kicking people on and off, which is fine, but I understand it's their world. We live in it. But hit that like button, subscribe, and love having you. Thank you, everybody.
Craig, Roger, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I've enjoyed it tonight. Neat to see the crew and everybody's commenting. I want to be able to comment, so I got to be able to get in there somehow.
We'll show you how to do that.
Next week, you just come on and get in the comment section.
I'll do that.
And because next week we're going to have some gals in from Georgia, I believe. It is Doc Brown Distilling Company. It is ran by two ladies, and we're going to have a few samples that we're going to get to try also. So very craft distillery, very crafty, and be here next week. So when we bring those ladies on, we want to represent the bourbon legends to them and show them that, by God, we are legendary.
Nice.
Right.
Good.
All right, y'all go see Josh over at Buster's and buy some of those barrel picks so we have room to put some new ones on here in the next month or two.
I'll be here at the East Store tomorrow from about 1 to 4. So if y'all want to come see me.
Good God, I need to be a liquor store owner and only have to work from 1 to 4. That's better than banker's hours.
I've got things I got to do in the morning. I just got to, get done.
Yeah, we understand. Totally understand.
So here I am.
So 1 to 4.
1 to 4. Get over there to Buster's East.
Yep.
Not Highland. Let's just, before we wrap the show up, let's make sure everybody knows the difference. So Highland is the store, the old store, if you will.
That's the OG. That's
the old Walmart. The old Walmart store. That's where you have the
butcher shop
next to,
which is,
and then Buster's East is obviously east of Highland store, right?
Yeah, and east is the easiest way to do it. Is at Poplar and 240, right there in the Ridgeway Trace. We're literally share the parking lot with Best Buy. So that's your marker, easy to get into and out of. Go in the roundabout and leave through the roundabout. That's the best way to exit this property. But yeah, that's where we are, and I'm going to be at East tomorrow. Okay.
So you're going to be where you are right now. You're at East right now.
Yep.
All right, the new store, folks. The new store, 1 to 4. You can come in. I bet you he'll even autograph a bottle if you want him to.
That's it.
Now that he's found this newfound fame of being a co-host, he'll be signing them bottles with the gold pens, just like Mr. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I don't want to talk to you anymore tonight, though.
Good evening, guys.
All right.
See you, brother.
Thanks. We'll be in touch. Everybody, thanks for joining the show tonight. Join us this time next week, same time, same bat channel. We have the gals on, like I said, from Doc Brown Distillery.
Nice.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Pour one more for the stories we've told of barrels and bottles and whiskey gold. From grain to glass, through fire and flame, every pour's got a legend's name.